I thought about it for 3 months, and I was preparing myself to say, okay, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I was telling my best friend, like, I feel that this is the end of an era. It was like processing after a lot of years.
So you processed it beforehand, before the situation happened.
So I processed it while I was still in the relationship. Then,
You fucked up so many times.
of course I do.
I fucked up so many times.
And that's how we learn.
And that's how we learn. What is the biggest fuck up you would say that's happened in your life? The biggest fuck up.
I have one, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Go on.
Which has been like one of your biggest fuck up.
This one is completely irrelevant, and it's completely irrelevant to the work I do now.
Boys have a breakup, they are like, oh, I'm so free. They don't give a fuck, and then they realize that they fucked up, and that's when they start.
Yeah, so
like,
you know exactly what that is. Personally, the reason that I felt like I wanted to run away, and like I thought about this whole situation logically, was because I was like, so I think we're good to go. Sounds great.
Wait, I need to burp.
Say again. I'm putting that in the podcast.
I need to burp.
I'm putting that in the podcast.
Shut
I'm
up!
putting it in the podcast. I'm the chief editor here, so it goes my last say.
I'm going to say that it was fake.
Yes.
That you put me a sound because in
Because
reality
what?
I was saying, ah!
Yeah. You actually can sit a little bit further back. You actually get your wish.
There.
Maybe not that far.
Okay, there.
Yeah. I don't know why. I think it's just because your microphone's newer that it seems to work a little bit better.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome that you got the new microphone after crying about it.
You're welcome that you have the new chair after crying about it.
I didn't cry about it.
And then you were saying that your butt was sweating.
My butt was sweating a lot. In the last episode, you're
So
not
we're
wrong.
already... No, we haven't started, right?
I think the best way to start podcasts is to just talk,
Okay.
rather than doing an intro so much, and just have like random conversations. Because
That way, just do
Because I
it!
genuinely think they're hilarious. The fact that you were just burping on camera.
No, Maximiliano, don't put that, please. I have videos of you.
I don't give a fuck. Doing what? It doesn't matter.
Something related with air expulsing from your body.
Oh, what, farting?
Yeah.
I'll just fart on camera, so then you can't do it.
No, don't do it.
This is how you talk about business.
Yeah, that's how serious we can be.
I like that we don't have to be serious. I like it.
Yeah.
I like not being serious.
But if you notice, we can be very serious sometimes. I'm very deep.
Right moment, right time.
Yeah.
Right moment, right time. Because I like to be serious. I like to be deep. I know you like the same as well. But
Sometimes
I
you-
also know that you like to be very stupid, and I love that. Another thing I love about you.
Sometimes Max can be fighting and he just starts laughing.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
like
that we
arguing.
can be like not talking to each other.
And then I look
we're
at you
like,
and I just start laughing. It's because you're stupid.
oh, says the stupid.
Talking about fuck ups, that's the main topic of this.
Yeah, fuck up.
You fucked up so many times.
Of course I do.
I fucked up so many times.
And that's how we learn.
And that's how we learn.
Yeah.
What is the biggest fuck up you would say that's happened in your life? The biggest fuck up.
I have one, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Go on.
No, I'm not going to talk about
What
it.
topic is it? Do I know it?
Yeah,
What one is it?
you know it. I'm not going to talk about it on camera. One day, maybe. Not now. I'm not prepared.
Wait until you're famous and no one can tell you off.
Yeah. I don't know. My big... It's because I have a lot. Decisions when it comes to relationships. Work decisions. Like...
That was actually how you started with your brothers, wasn't it? Because we were going for a bit of a argument period, and we were arguing so much
Yeah.
that you were like,
I was so angry that I just needed to do something
Yeah.
in that moment that changed everything. And
Okay.
maybe not everything, but it changed my work, like my work life, my working life. So that's when I decided to text them. And even one of my brothers told me like, okay, first think about it, and then you ask me again. And I was like, I'm sure. He was like, but I don't want you to like just leave us again. I didn't left them, by the way.
no, yeah. In fairness, you actually did it right because you were on a period of time that you agreed to first, right?
Yeah, I said 6 months, and then maybe they thought that I was joking or
There's
something.
something to fiddle with. You look like you want to fiddle,
What's a fiddle?
like
I don't know.
No, you
I
sure?
was
You
just
just look like you want to fiddle with something. I always do. I used to love to shuffle cards. Sorry, what were you saying?
and what?
You were
Yeah,
talking about it with your brothers.
yeah. That's when I decided that something has to change because I didn't have money. I didn't want to go back to working at the clubs, and I just messaged them in the middle of an argument with you, and
My bad.
in the middle of being really angry, and something really cool came out from that.
Of course.
I think that those are the moments that push you to do something
Mm-hmm.
different. No?
I would definitely agree that your biggest fuck ups end up being your biggest lessons, that end up being your biggest wins, because your fuck ups turn to wins because of the fuck up.
Exactly.
And it's like in that moment where you fuck up, you lose your ego, I would say.
Totally. And you don't have another choice. Well, yeah, you have the choice to keep your ego, but I think that when you're literally like rock bottom, is it okay to say?
Yeah, you have nowhere else to go.
Yeah, and you are experiencing the fuck up. It's not that someone is trying to avoid it, so you
Yeah.
don't suffer or you learn towards someone else. No, you are living what you decide, and you're like, okay, yeah, I fucked up, and whatever, I have to go out of this like hole.
There's
and
nothing.
just
There's
keep
nothing
going.
more you can do when you fuck up, right?
Yeah,
Like even this right now, I'm like kind of fucking up. Like I'm still working with the
audio.
audio here. Yeah,
How is it?
it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's definitely something that can also be sorted in post production as well.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, it's interesting how things can fuck up so easily.
Or we can fuck up things so easily because
True.
also sometimes we had amazing things in front of us
Mhm.
and we decide to go to the opposite, or we decide not to go through the easy path and we fucked up and we stupid, and then we say, okay, now I want to go back. Babe, why does your light is not on?
It is on.
Huh?
I don't know what. I think because the microphone's new, it's just better. I think it's just more sensitive, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know.
Because of the thingy, the sponge, maybe?
Potentially. Try and push your sponge up. So like hold the mic and push the sponge up.
No, but I'm saying that this is thinner.
Do you want to switch sponges?
Why?
See what happens.
If you want
Let's see what happens if we switch sponges. Because mine's like super. I doubt this will make a difference.
He just wants to steal my sponge.
Try that sponge. I actually prefer that sponge because it's bigger.
Hi. Is it the same?
I think when I talk, it still picks me up. I really don't know why. But that's that whole thing. Like I think the best way to learn something is to fuck up fast. To like you do the fuck up as fast as you can, so that you can get to the positive outcome quicker.
Yeah.
Because like think of it that way. Like think of it when posting content. If you look at my content 5, 6, 7 years ago, I don't know how long ago, my content was shit, like absolutely shit. But now it's actually very good. I didn't learn to light a room, to film, to do audio, to talk on camera, to edit, all at the same time. I first screwed up with editing. I made my first ever mini documentary on YouTube. If you type in Max Hindle ayahuasca, you will literally find the first documentary that I made, and it was useless. Like the music is so loud, like so obnoxiously loud. The music doesn't suit. Like I tried to make it scary when I was talking about how bad my ayahuasca experience was, and I was like putting this like really like scary music. Then all of a sudden it was me in Peru, and then the music was like din 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 din, din. It was like tropical house music. It was like there was no contrast.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. Then I made a second ayahuasca documentary, and that one's 10 times better. I like used a hook at the start because I learned how to do hooks in videos. I learned how to edit videos. I learned with the sound effects. I learned with the music. I learned using the right music. And I wouldn't have done that second one if I didn't fuck up the first one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to sort this in post. because I don't want to go through all this
So
now.
it's not this whatever.
Nah. Do you want your one
No,
back?
the same.
You sure?
Yeah. Steal it from me.
Say again.
Steal it from me.
Shut up.
You couldn't let me something new.
You can have everything. You've got the microphone.
You have the chair and the sponge.
I actually gave you the sponge initially because you cried about it. There we are. Okay, I quite like this here, although this moves slightly. Is what it is. Okay, let's talk about your personal life fuck ups. How did they impact your life?
Completely.
How?
For me, for example, I could have work fuck ups, personal fuck ups.
Let's go with your personal fuck ups. How did your personal fuck ups improve your life?
That was my whole point. Like, I can have work fucked ups, personal fucked ups, friendship fucked ups, but if I can have a work fucked up, yeah, it impacts my life. But there's a moment where I let it go, and I'm like, whatever. I'm not going to think about work. But if I have a personal fucked up, it just messes with my mind a lot.
In what way?
I feel that nothing is right. If I don't have like my base strong enough, I can do whatever I want whenever I want. But if my base is not strong, there's like a hole in me. I don't know.
But when you say your base is not strong, what do you mean by that?
My personal life, like my family. I'm not so much. I can be very sociable and talk with a lot of people, but my circle is very small. Mm-hmm. My real circle, like the people that I talk about my personal life, like my story. I don't talk about it with everybody. For me, it's more difficult. It's not like you, for example, that you can open more and in 5 minutes you can telling your life story to the one that is in the dressing room.
I've done that multiple times in the sauna. There's many people that know my whole life fuck ups in the sauna
and I
that
can
don't even
do
know
that.
my name.
I can do that. Maybe it's coming from ego, from being very proud, from not wanting people to say, "Oh, poor little girl." Like, why? No.
I think it's that because I know we've had that conversation, and you hate people pitying.
I hate.
And there's no reason to pity you because, like, I mean, I personally think you've got so much. Like, of course, you've had very awful things go on in your life, but like, I see a lot in that. And like for me, the way I see that is, I'm like, good, pity me, see me as an underdog, because I'm gonna come out bigger one day. I don't know when that day is, but that comes from, I'm like, yeah, do it, pity me. Do you know what I mean? Pity me, feel sorry for me.
Well, no,
like,
I hate that.
Like, why do you hate that?
It's not that I hate it because I don't have a problem when people underestimate me. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what it
do
is.
it. Okay, do it. I don't have a problem with that. I hate when people, well, not hate, but I don't like when people are like, oh, poor Katia, oh, poor, how does she live? Like, I'm perfectly fine. Yeah, I've been through shit and I had very difficult and awful moments that I can wish to not even the girl or the boy or the whatever that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean, but at the same time, I'm still alive. I'm complete. Like, I don't have anything to complain about. Yes and no. I think that it depends on how you decide to do it. Because there's also people that use that all the time, you know? That they use like, oh yeah, my dog died, and they just keep using the story of the dog for years and years and years. Like, get over it.
Interesting. Okay. Like, 'cause I'm curious where that comes from because, like, I'd probably say I do use my stories.
But they have like a sense. It's not like a. It's because.
Do you think that they have a sense to someone? Like, for example,
well,
like
no.
let's use the dog died one as an example. Like, do you think that has a sense to people?
Yeah, in one moment.
Of course.
Yeah, I got it. But I'm saying when I'm comparing a breakup, when someone, boy or girl, boys, to be realistic, boys don't give a fuck after a breakup.
That's not true.
They just feel free.
That's not true.
Well, from my perspective, from my friends, from my close people, when boys have a breakup, they are like, oh, I'm so free. They don't give a fuck. And then they realize that they fucked up. And that's when they start.
Yeah, so
like,
do you know exactly
awful.
what that is? So, like,
because
I've
girls
actually
do the opposite.
Yes, I've heard exactly that. The girls. Would you say girls or would you say feminine? Like feminine energy in that moment.
Yeah. Maybe.
Because I've said I've definitely been more feminine in some relationships. With you, I'm way more masculine. But in past relationships, maybe I've been more feminine, and initially the breakup hurt more, and then long term I was like, fuck it, it's done. Is that a feminine way of looking at it, would you say?
No, I think that is well, I don't know. I don't want to mess with genders or anything like that. But I think that it's of girls that if you want to break up with your boyfriend, whatever, you think about it before doing it. At least in my experience, I thought about it for 3 months, and I was preparing myself to say, okay, I'm ready. I was telling my best friend, like, I feel that this is the end of an era. It was like processing after a lot of years.
So you processed it beforehand, before the situation happened.
So I processed it while I was still in the relationship. Then when I then end up, I was okay. And from his part, he was okay. And then he was like awful, you know?
Right.
But I was over it because I have my process of letting go and everything before ending it.
Interesting. That's really interesting because, yeah, I would say that maybe I've done the opposite where, okay, so you know what we said about in the other episode where we were talking about I just do things and you think about it more.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't say in a bad way impulsive, I'd say quite in a good way I'm quite impulsive. Like even to the point of like I'm genuinely curious, do you think you would have built the podcast studio if it wasn't for me to say, fuck it, let's buy everything?
No. I wanted to do it 8 years ago and I haven't done it.
True.
So, and that's funny because, for example, my best friend told me once, like, when you are in a relationship, meaning me, I do more things, like, because I.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like, for me, being in a relationship and having a partner that supports me makes me want, not makes me want to do it because I want to do it, but push me to do it.
Right.
I don't know why. Maybe because when I'm alone or when I was single, I was like, yeah, but
maybe I'll get around to it.
Or whatever, no? But
right.
I don't know. I just think that I focus. And also it's sharing like the same goals with your partner.
True, that's the thing. We got very exactly similar goals.
Yeah, because
I think we have different ways of getting there.
Imagine that you wanted the podcast studio and you were like, okay, let's do it. Help me to, and I was like, no, I want to watch Netflix. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
you could do it anyway, but it would be different, and I think that would end up in arguments or difference, or I don't know.
Well, I had this conversation with Jack actually, and he was saying, and it was one of the videos that we're putting together. And he was saying, if like when you're on your journey, make sure you take your people with you. And he was like, because for example, imagine you're in a relationship, you've got your spouse, and you are growing like this, and your spouse isn't. That gap is too far because it's like on a Saturday night. What do you want to do? Saturday night towards 10 p.m. Some people want to chill and watch Netflix. Not saying we don't, because we do.
Yeah.
And we're watching The Gentleman, great show.
Yeah, but this is our idea of a date.
True. True.
Because it doesn't feel like work.
And also, I'd say, but this is a completely different setup. Because, for example, like because yes, theoretically this is working, but also we're having a very in-depth conversation.
Yeah.
So we're actually
and we like to talk.
Exactly. Like the way that we see it, it's like I said to you earlier about the protein powder in waffles or the protein powder in banana bread. If I put protein powder in my waffles, it removes the guilt because at least I know I'm getting a shit ton of protein.
You put that in your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
So, for example, if we were going to have this conversation at dinner anyway, why don't we film it?
Yeah.
Like, for me, that makes sense because I think we have interesting conversations.
We do. We have very weird but interesting conversations, and then we can be very stupid also. And
what do you think was the biggest like fuck up that you've had with me, do you think? Like in like a random argument where you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that or said that.
Yeah, I had some.
Go on.
Yeah.
Will you explain it?
Like I had them when my crazy Katya wants to come out.
She's crazy.
And it's because it's always a moment. It's always a moment when I start opening and saying things. And it's, I feel it. I'm like, oh, she's coming, don't say it. And boom. I
Cat's
say
out the
it,
bag.
and I just say things angry, and that's when you get like, how do I deal with you? Like,
What, me?
literally, yeah.
How do you deal with me?
No, I don't know. That's what you think about me when I'm in those moments. When
Right.
I'm just crazy
Oh.
randomly, you're like,
how do I
what
deal
the fuck? Everything is okay. And I'm like, yeah, but... And I always find something. It's not that I like to argue. I really don't like to argue. I also have to say this. It's very difficult, and it has been more difficult than I thought, to be on a healthy relationship after so many
True.
awful things.
True.
It's not an excuse, but it's another process,
Yeah.
because all that sometimes after being in so many things is, okay, this is a way, and when someone show you another, you're like, no, why? That feels weird. I don't know. So you'd rather be always like defending yourself and always like taking care of yourself, and in the little thing that it can be nothing, you feel that they are like trying to cheat on you or trying to lie or whatever. But the something that I'm really grateful with you is, after our fucked ups at the beginning, all of those negative thoughts are never true. You always demonstrate me like, shut the fuck up, and we're like, it's literally like, I don't have evidence, to fucking keep arguing. So that's when it turns difficult, and I think that my biggest fucked up with us until now, and I'm trying to work on that. I'm working on that. Is, yeah, maybe sometimes being very impulsive. You said it to me the other day that I delete something. You told me irrational when I delete the file because I was angry.
Ah, yes.
So
Yeah.
so when I'm angry, I just lose.
You don't. So. Okay, this is very interesting, because when you're angry, you do what I do, just in not necessarily the positive light. Because like, I don't need to be angry in order to be impulsive to start a podcast. But you still have that in you, the ability to do it without having to worry or think about it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm trying to use it in a different way.
Well, that's the thing. You can literally like flip the switch. I remember having a podcast with George, and we shot it, and he was asking me something, and I said, like, I've got a very addictive personality, and I get addicted to things very easily. I got addicted to drugs. I got addicted to anxiety. I got addicted to, like, being very lonely. I got addicted to everything.
Avocado toast, waffles,
smoothie bowls, localito.
But when we're saying obsessive, is obsessive. Like,
yeah.
People have to know that you can come from more. I remember when they launched Threads. I couldn't move you from the sofa in 2 days.
I was a threader.
2 days. Like, I literally was talking to you and you didn't. Of course, well, that always happens.
Yeah.
When you are in the phone and I say something, you just don't react.
Yeah.
But those moments, I was like, oh my God, please no. And you were, I'm going to try it for a month. Thanks God, after 2 days, you were like, okay, I'm done.
No, I think it was about a week or so.
Well, yeah, but the worst days were the first
Definitely. I remember just, like, think of that from a place of, like, instant dopamine, because all your followers from Instagram immediately went there.
And it went crazy because numbers were getting high really, really fast.
Yeah. Like, I've been on Threads. I went on Threads the other day. Like, my follower count went up like another 500 followers.
It keeps growing.
Of
Mine
course,
is the same.
because when new people join it, they sign up and they follow the people that are already following, stuff like that.
Okay, so which has been your biggest fuck up in our relationship until this moment?
The biggest fuck up is when I tried to run away at the start.
Why?
Why was that the biggest fuck up?
Why did you feel that you needed to run away? Why? If it was so, like, soon. Well, but time is relative when it comes to us.
I think personally, the reason I felt like I wanted to run away was because, and like, I thought about this whole situation logically, was because I was like, right, I've got the freedom to do whatever I want, wherever I want. This is the first time living alone. This is the first time, like, really, well, when I say first time, the first year living alone. The first time of doing whatever I want when I want, no one to think about. And maybe somewhere in my mind, I was like, that's cool. But then also I also thought about it, and I had times in my old apartment where I would be like, that I like to spend time one-on-one with people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll speak to my friend when I'm in Playa, like, oh, Harry, do you want to go for food? Or Mateo, do you want to go for food? I like one-on-one time with people because I can actually have a conversation with people. But then I don't need to spend like loads of one-on-one time with people. And I love to spend one-on-one time with you because with you, it feels like I'm with me as well. Like, it actually feels like I'm with me.
Te amo.
Te amo. No, like, generally, it actually feels like I'm with me because I think you are just me. Just in a very pretty female body, in a pretty female, crazy Latina bitch body.
I'm doing a sexy English body.
It doesn't have quite the ring to it. Fucking crazy Latina bitch body versus sexy English body.
Babe, it's
I'm working on the body though.
Babe, I know, and that's something that I love about you. And this is going to sound hard, but I would never forget when we were talking, and I don't know if it was me or you, that we say, what would you do if I was fat?
I wouldn't be with you.
And literally that was our answer, and we didn't give a fuck. It was like, you didn't try to be rude, I didn't try to be rude, but that's a reality. Everyone is responsible for their own life, from their own body, from everything. And I think that that's very important because nowadays it's like, oh no, don't tell whatever that because it's bad. No, well, okay, you don't like it, do something to change it.
I love you too much for you to fuck up your body. Because like the thing is, there's people that are overweight that are actually happy. Respect.
Yeah, exactly.
Respect.
Exactly.
I would feel bad about myself. I would feel insecure.
Because for us, getting to that point is stop taking care of ourselves.
But that's it. It's a moral thing for me.
Exactly.
It's not just like you're out of shape. Like, for example, I look in the mirror. I look in the mirror. Like, I've got a picture of I always take pictures of myself. And I found out. I told you when I'm in good shape, I'm very vain. Very vain.
And you were doing
constantly mirror selfies, like checking out my abs.
Physio. What's the name of the thing?
What?
Fisicoculturista. The thing that Mateo was showing you to post.
Oh, bodybuilding?
Bodybuilding. In Spanish, it's fisicoculturista.
Ah, okay, bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously I did that video with Mateo. Like I couldn't do that. But like it's for me. My photos are for me. Like, because when I look through my photos, I look at myself. I'm like, man, you're bitching out. You look so good there.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Like, because I compare myself, I really do compare myself to me. And I'm like, I was like, I had fucking sick abs. I had really sick abs. And I'm like, I need those abs back.
And eating waffles. But you were working out.
I was eating waffles. I was eating a lot of waffles and I had good abs.
Yeah.
Protein powder. Power protein powder.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. So that was your biggest fucked up, like trying to run away.
Trying to run away from me was my biggest fuck up because...
How did you know? Oh, fuck, I fucked up.
Logic. Genuine logic. I'm like, why do I not want to be with someone who genuinely wants to be with me, genuinely cares for me, and is like genuinely deep down a good person? Why wouldn't I want that?
Why?
No, exactly.
Oh, yeah. But
I think that it comes down to self-sabotage in some sort of way.
Yeah.
And I definitely did self-sabotage. Because that was the freest year where no one could tell me what to do.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously being in a relationship, things change. Not like you tell me what to do and I tell you what to do. But things change where I do things out of respect for you. Mm-hmm. And I'd hope you do things out of respect for me.
Same.
That serves me, knowing that I'm doing things right. Because if, for example, and obviously cancel. That is
cancel.
That is Katya's way of saying... It's not going to happen. You got to say cancel 3 times.
Don't talk negative. People know that I'm always like cancel.
Say even my mum. Cancel. If you were to like end it, fuck up, whatever, I know that I've done everything right and I'll sleep well.
Like, that's the best feeling ever.
So therefore, I think to the universe, and I've thought this even when we've had like arguments. I'm like, if you're fucking up, that's on you. Like, I won't like it,
of course,
but I'll be okay.
And something better will come for you or for me.
Without a doubt.
That's the reality. And also, I get going back to the part where you said that you felt free. Mm-hmm. Also, you felt free in a place that for Mexicans is a place to party and to get fucked and to don't care about your life. Playa del Carmen. So for Mexicans, Playa del Carmen is parties, is abuse of everything.
It couldn't have been the more opposite for me.
But there's also a club of healthy people that I've never met before, because at night. I was doing everything at night.
We were doing
working,
everything in the morning.
Yeah. So
we were hitting the gym. We'd be at the gym at 6 a.m.
That's crazy. And if you, for example, if in this moment, do you think that it was easy to find a relationship in Playa del Carmen?
Yes.
Oh.
Because, and the way that I saw this, and I think we've had this conversation, I don't think you like the way I see it, but this is the way that I see it, is Hormozy said it perfectly. Layla Hormozy said it perfectly as well. Both of them did. Think of dating as sales. Like, the more prospects you have, the more chance of finding the ideal client to sell to. The more prospects you have, and that doesn't mean that you go out and fuck everyone. Like, I'm not saying that, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think prospects from the point of view of you
meet and you go out.
You meet, blah, blah. Yeah, and you actively test the water, and you find out that's not for me. Don't want that. That's not what I'm looking for. I like this, but not the right person. I like this. This is why I like this type of thing. Like,
it was like the way of confirming what you really want.
Without a doubt. And I watched something called Love is Blind. I think it was Love is Blind. It's basically something where, like, imagine I'd never met you. There's a wall between us. We can't see each other. And they date through the wall. So it's just conversation. They don't know what they look like.
Nothing.
Mm-hmm. They just know what they sound like. That is it. And one of the girls came into the room. And I'm assuming this is a feminine thing versus a masculine thing. A way of looking at something.
Yeah.
The girl came into the room and she was like, well, you're dating these other girls. And he said, and he was like, well, yeah, because I need to see the girl that I want to be with. If I don't spend time with that girl, how do I know who to choose? It's not who am I left with, it's who do I choose to be with. And I think that goes on both sides. Like I said, the red pill community, I think, is stupid where they go, your girl should have never been with anyone before. Because in my opinion, I'm like, well, how do they know what they want?
And also, why shouldn't she, but you can?
I agree. I don't believe in hypocrisy.
That's bullshit. And it's the same thing that we were saying. The men, well, at least in little towns or in little cities, it happens that the men that are always in the club with every girl that they can, take on the DMs of everyone, are the ones that are asking for a girl that never get out of the house, that never had a boyfriend, that I don't want my girl being seen by any man. Like, what is wrong with you?
Personally, I like a girl that has had experience in life, because going through experience creates character, and I like character in people. Everyone in my family has great character, all because they've been through stupid shit. You have very good character because you've been through really fucked up shit. Yeah. I've got a good character because I've been through fucked up shit. I think character comes from going through fucked up shit.
So how is, for example, I'm going to say it. So, for example, for you, what's the biggest difference or the biggest benefit, if you can say it like that, of being with a girl that has character or being with a girl that didn't?
It's boring.
Why?
Like put it this way. So this is what the red pill community talk about. They talk about having a band of brothers, a band of men. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that can be a very, very good thing. I think it can really serve a lot of people. But I don't think everyone's built like that. I'm not built like that. I don't personally need, want, or desire a brotherhood of some sort. I think it benefits a lot of men. And I think a lot of men should do it. But for me, I want to have a best friend in my partner, because I want to spend a lot of time with you.
Yeah.
And that just goes for me. I'm sure there's millions of other men out there that have the same.
You're crazy.
Of course. There's a million that will say you're crazy.
Yeah.
Men and women will say you're crazy.
Yeah.
And there's many men and women that go, that's the type of relationship I want.
Exactly. Because, and we were talking about it the other day.
You said that with so much attitude. Exactly. So we were talking about that the other day.
So we were talking about it the other day.
See, character.
We were talking about it the other day, and we were saying how sad is that we know, like, relationships or people that have a relationship, but they can wait to get rid of the boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, wife, whatever, during the weekend to be with their friends.
Yeah, I never got that.
And it's like sometimes, and I had it before. I had it before where, I had my boyfriend, but I had a best friend. So I didn't tell things to my boyfriend, but I did tell things to my best friend.
Right.
Because I didn't have this.
You didn't have the best friend in your boyfriend.
I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have, like... Also, it's very it's very, very different to have a relationship with someone that is not from Mexico.
True.
It's a huge difference.
Well, also a huge difference for an English person to have relationships with someone outside of the UK.
Why? For example, for you, which is like one of the biggest things that you say. This is.
I don't know, because I'd say also UK girls can be crazy as well. I don't think crazy is just a Latina thing. People say it's a thing, but
we are just the best at that. We are the best
you
at
take the
being
cake.
crazy.
Yeah, you take the cake for that. It's like
It's because also we can be crazy and like salty and like I don't know how to explain it. Spicy.
just crazy.
We are the best.
Just crazy. But like, also don't forget, I grew up in a family where I'd say my mum and sister's past life were probably Latina in some way because they're crazy.
Oh my
fuckers.
god, yeah, we're the best gang.
Wait, what was the question you just asked me?
What was the biggest difference at being with a Mexican girl than to an English girl? Or something that you said, I'm so glad that you don't are like this. Because, for example, for me, I'm so glad that you're not a macho.
But that's not Mexican.
No, but it's very like here.
No,
I know
so
that
for anyone that
worldwide.
doesn't know what a macho is, that is typically that's red pill community.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That literally is it. It's just in the Western world, it's been named. Like in Mexico, like it's just not been named.
Yeah, but I remember when people used to ask me like, oh, okay, you are on tour and you are with artists or with rappers, blah, 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 like working. How do you find a boyfriend? I was like, I won't find a boyfriend here.
No.
Until I find someone that understands what I do, respect it, and doesn't try to pull me out of my thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Because I date guys that were like, okay, but you're going to quit dancing. And I was like, bye. There's no way.
But that's the thing. It's like, can you find someone who... But also it is, I think it's a respect thing. I think we spoke about this before.
Of course.
Because,
yeah.
for example, like... Let's say you met someone. Let's say when you met me, I was like one of those pickup artists that like, and you didn't know that about me. You never knew that about me, but you genuinely liked who I was and you fell in love with the person I was. Mm-hmm. Then you found out I did like pickup artist stuff on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Like you wouldn't like that, would you?
What's
like pickup, like the guys that like chat to girls on like how do you know what I mean? But let's say like you didn't know any of that until you fell in love with me. Like, you would expect a level of respect with that. Some guys won't respect that. That's their choice, and that's a woman's choice to accept that or not.
Yeah. And there's also boys that do respect that. Because I've worked with photographers that are married, that they are the most respectful people in the world that is literally just work. But that's another thing, babe. For example, you don't have a problem if I go to a photo shoot. But there are a lot of men that will like, no, why? Why is someone else going to take your picture? It's like...
See, I don't know what it is.
And are
that
the boys
that doesn't bother me.
And are the boys that are liking everything of someone else, you know? So let's talk about it. For example, I think that a huge thing that changed for us since the beginning and a topic that we discussed was likes on Instagram. What, as a man, before like meeting each other, what did you think before about the likes?
Completely irrelevant.
Completely
irrelevant.
You didn't have any intention of liking a picture of a girl?
No, I'd say especially when you're single, and let's say you're trying to actively date women, and they come up on your feed. I think I speak for a lot of men with this. Is you can see a photo and go, for example, oh, cool photo. You can also say, oh, she looks hot. You can also say. You can also literally mindlessly scroll and go.
Yeah, because it seems like you have it inside of your body, men.
I'm not excusing the men that do that in a way that their intention is to actively get the attention of other women, because there are men that definitely do that. I also say there's a lot of would that. That's the thing.
I would also say, I
would also say a woman's like, like a woman's like holds more value than a man's like holds value. For example, if you were to like some random guy's post, and I'm talking from my personal experience, I'm like, oh, maybe she's interested.
Why?
Don't know.
But it's the same thing. That's another thing that I don't understand. We've talked about it, but why men liking 100 posts of bikini or of a girl, whatever, is random, and us giving a like to a guy that is dressed.
I can tell you, I know exactly what that is, because women have more options than men, in general. Like, I'm not saying because there's a lot of men that like any girl would like lick their feet, lick the fucking ground they walk on.
Weirdos.
But no, that definitely happens.
Yeah.
But predominantly men are the one licking the women's ground that they're walking on. Do you know what I mean? Like, which is like when I've had conversations with people, we've gone away from fuck ups massively, but this is an interesting conversation. When a man, like, it's easier for a man to like do that, and like the word is simp, like to simp over a woman is to be like their bitch effectively. It's much easier for a man to do that than it is for a woman to do that. I feel like women actually hold more value in the dating game from scratch. Okay. Like, for example, a man to be worth dating, there's probably things that you look for, and I'd assume like some women look for money. I know you don't look for money. Some women, evidently you didn't look for money, because when I met you, I was broke.
I love that. We will have to tell the story of the taxis one day.
Which one?
When I was sick.
Oh, so I had no money to... Hold on, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So women immediately have a value here. Men immediately have a value here in the dating game. Because a women... and like the thing is, and this, again, the Red Pill community talk about this, is something that I do agree with the Red Pill community. Women date up, men date down. Usually.
How?
Usually. Because, for example...
They up age? Or what are we talking about?
No. So, a woman... Is it that? Women date up and men date down. Yeah, that's something that I can't do. And I've said to you, it's very normal for a guy. I've spoken to guys about this, and they're like, yeah, I'll fuck a 3 out of 10. And
okay, so they don't care. Okay, yeah, we have to discuss this. Yeah, okay, keep going.
So a woman can go like, if you don't have a 6-pack, I won't fuck you, I won't have sex with you, I won't go on a date with you. That can be very common for women. I'm not saying that's common with you.
If you had ugly teeth.
Some people look at that.
And men don't give a fuck about whatever while they're corny.
Very true. Very true. Most men. But that's where we've spoken about this in regards to cheating as a topic. The men that say, I should be able to cheat, but my woman can't. Like, no, listen. I just don't think they've actually thought about the topic enough. Because in reality, like, and I literally heard a woman say it, I can't remember who it was, I heard her on a podcast, she was saying it, she went, so what you're saying is you're a very strong, disciplined and controlled man, but when it comes to women, you can't control yourself. That sounds like a weak man to me. And I was like, she's fucking right.
100%.
She's fucking right. Because that's the thing, like, if you're cheating and your partner cheats, I'm like, well,
you deserve each other.
Neither of you have fucking got anything else to say, because you're both cheating on each other.
What are you doing?
But let's say that was agreed upon thing. I actually respect that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at least you spoke about it.
At least you have the courage to step in front of your girl and saying, okay, I can be loyal, I'm stupid, and I will be with someone
if she doesn't want to accept that, she's more than entitled to walk away. And I think that's very fair.
Of course.
I believe in fair for life. I also believe that there's things that a man should do and a woman should do in like life, in relationships. It's weirder for a woman to leave a child than a man to leave a child. Understandably, because the woman gave birth to the child.
But still, there are some that don't give a fuck.
Exactly. And that's life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's life. Unfortunately, that's life.
Okay, so going back to fuck-ups.
What was the thing that you just said about... You just said something and I was like, we need to go into that.
The likes on Instagram?
No,
the likes.
You just said something after that. Fuck, what was it?
Being weak, cheating.
No.
About work, about relationship?
I can't remember. I really can't remember.
I don't know.
Okay, what stuff have you got down here?
Yeah.
What?
It was something about...
I feel like it began with D. I don't know why. Don't wait, do it. That's the podcast you're watching. Have fun watching. Don't wait, do it, because we are coming at you live.
Fuck, what were we talking about?
What did you say? I don't know. Let's just keep going. I'm sure if it needs to come back up, it will come back up. Let's go into work fuck ups. What is there something that you fucked up with work that generally cost, like the job cost money, that really screwed up, that you knew you screwed up and you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that? Or like
that already cost money? Thanks God, no. That caused my stress, yeah, a lot. I can remember a lot. But I learned from that. I was so traumatized that I learned from that.
Right.
Yeah,
well, because they're the biggest learning lessons. When you're so traumatized by it, you'll never forget it.
No, and that's the thing. Like, those are the moments where I get angry with myself, because it can be something so tiny that maybe because you're distracted, tired, or I don't know, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, maybe when it comes to money, the emotions, like 2 or 3 editions of the motion that I was minus 20,000 pesos, and I was like, why am I doing this? Why? Like, but I don't know. When I'm dancing, I forgot it, but then when it ends, I'm like,
fuck, I'm in debt.
Yeah, but then, for example, I have oh my God, that was the best workshop of my life, and kids that start dancing in that edition of motion. So that for me is like the equivalent to say, well, But when it comes to money, yeah, it's a huge fuck up.
Okay.
Which has been like one of your biggest fuck up?
This one is completely irrelevant, and it's completely irrelevant to the work I do now. It was when I used to be a plumber, and I told you the story. When, like, I will never forget the fact that in a radiator. So, do you have radiators? In Morelia?
Yeah.
Really? I've never seen a radiator.
I think so.
So they're like they're metal, and then water flows through them, not electric
ones. No, I don't know.
Okay, so water flows through them. So in the UK, they're plumbed into the central heating. Mm-hmm. So the water that goes to the tap goes through this system. Actually, probably not the tap water. I don't know. Probably like the wastewater. And I had to, so it's called bleeding a radiator, which means you let all the air out so that the water can fill up and go through all the pipes of the radiator, because it goes up, down, up, down, up, down until the whole radiator's full. Then the whole thing heats and it heats the room. I will never forget the fact that you cannot take out the bleed of a radiator. And it's we've actually got one there. I don't know where it came from. It looks like one. Hopefully we don't have a radiator in the house that's going to flood the house. But I took it out. And my boss at the time was like, Max, can you hear any air coming out? And I was like, no. So I took it all the way out. And it's tiny. Like, I don't know how, I really don't know. Like, a tiny screw. So you can't put it in with your fingers. You need this special key for it. And I had the key on my keys. It was a very plumber thing to do. I had the key and I put it in, and all I could hear is and then water was pissing out everywhere, all over this person's bedroom. In their bedroom as well, and he's screaming. He wasn't too bad, but he was pissed off at the time, understandably. And he turned the whole system off, and then I managed to put it back in.
Oh my
God.
But
I will never, because of how bad the fuck up was, and I actually didn't have to pay for it. He paid for it. Shout out, Matt. Don't even know what you do now. I'm assuming he's still a plumber. Like, that fucked up so bad that I didn't. I'd never do that again. But then also, one that wasn't even that bad, with the same guy, I forgot to get a receipt when I went to the plumbing shop to get some parts for him. And he was like, why the fuck didn't you get a receipt? Now I can't write it off. Luckily, it wasn't expensive, but from that day, that's always made me be conscious.
You never forgot to ask.
I've always conscious of getting receipts now. So it's like, when you do something quote unquote wrong or bad, doesn't matter how big it is, as long as you give it importance. Because I was like, fuck, like, I actually cost him money. So I actually felt bad.
Yeah.
And I've done that multiple times. Like, I've spent thousands of dollars to work with people with no positive outcome. Now, that doesn't mean that working with people is wrong. I think it just meant doing my due diligence should have been better.
Yeah.
Because I think spending money, like, I've also spent $150 on a course, made 10,000. I've spent 5,000 on a course, made nothing. So like the amount of money doesn't actually matter, because I've also spent a few thousand and like made loads of money. So the amount of money you spend doesn't correlate to the outcome you're going to get, but the amount of money, or the fact that you spend money, for me means that you've got skin in the game, because things that I've taken for free I don't value as much sometimes.
Of course, for you it's like, oh well, I'm not paying for it, so whatever, I can skip it, or it happens.
That happens a lot. How many? What is the biggest fuck up you say you've had in your life, where you were at rock bottom? Like complete rock bottom, where your life, like you felt, I don't know if you felt depressed, I don't know if you felt like on the edge of everything, and you're just like, literally, this cannot get any worse.
I think that when I moved to Mexico City, at the beginning I thought that I fucked up, because I was sleeping in a little bedroom. I was paying a lot of money for a single bedroom. There were days that I literally didn't have food. I would never, I told you the story, but I would never forget that one of my friends, shout out Lalo, you rock.
Lalo.
He literally told me, like, you're not going to sleep without food. Like, I'm going to buy you a hamburger. And it was the best hamburger of my life, because I didn't have money for anything.
Yeah.
I didn't have money for the subway. I didn't have money to eat. But also, my ego and my pride was so big that, of course, I was not going to call my family and ask for money. So in that moment, I was like, what did I do? What have I done? Because here in Morelia, I had like an apartment, my car, a job, an office, everything very easy. But I think that everything being so easy, it was boring for me. It's like a toxic trait that I have.
Toxic that can be directed in a positive way.
Yeah.
Because that can make you get outside your comfort zone, that allows you to grow and allows you to actually get something great, like the great relationship that we have.
No, and talking about that, I'm also like remembering that I was just, that's another fucked up, maybe in a moment of my life, that I was just choosing the wrong people. And I remember that until one day I was like, why am I so
fucked up
against the equilibrium, like the balance in life? Because I saw someone walking like very chill, and I was like, why do I have to fight something with that, so much with that? Why do I need much?
I could have that.
Why do I need so much trouble and mess? And I'm just tired. And one of my friends one time he texted me and he was like, "You are afraid of letting yourself being loved by someone that is good." And I was like, "What?"
You're like, "Bitch, that's not true."
And it made sense because I was just choosing the wrong people.
Right.
That I knew that I was not going to have a good outcome. But it was easier for me. I don't know if I was going against everyone, or...
Do you think that that's possibly because it's easier to let someone fuck up than you fucking up?
Yeah. And also, from my perspective, if I was with the wrong people, at the end, I was not going to love that person. And they would leave. So it will be easier. Because if I love someone, also things hurt.
Of course.
And I didn't want that.
Right. That makes sense.
So what would you say has been your worst fucked up in life the last 2 years?
The last 2 years?
Well, yeah, it can be in life. Your life.
Because in life, like, my biggest fuck-ups end up being my biggest wins, without a doubt. I think I said to you, like, me having anxiety was the worst time of my life. But that ended up becoming the whole reason why I'm such a confident person. The whole reason why I understood human psychology, to understand how to understand people, to understand how to even look people in the eyes, to understand how to hypnotize people, to make money from the fact that I could hypnotize people and help people overcome their anxiety. If I didn't have anxiety, like, I used to say this to people, they're like, well, like, you're not a doctor. And I went, I used to have anxiety. A doctor's going to tell you, they're going to give you a pill and say this solves anxiety. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It masks anxiety. Great mask for anxiety. I'm not saying it doesn't work, 'cause it does.
It numbs everything.
But I'm speaking from experience. I'm not speaking from smarts. Like, I'm not saying I'm not smart, 'cause I'm actually quite intelligent in a different way to most people. I'm not, like, academically intelligent. But I experience the pain you're going through. Therefore, would you take advice from someone who to make $1 million from if they were born into wealth? Take the gentleman that we're watching. The son in that, he's a complete fuck up.
Useless, yeah.
House, like, they get $5 million a year from the drug farm, whatever. But the like, they're lords, they're dukes, they're, like, I don't know how to, like, they're below kings and queens. I don't know the exact meaning of it. But would you take advice from someone who's a complete fuck up that was given money their whole life? Their first car was a Lamborghini because their dad bought it for them. Or would you take advice from someone who doesn't necessarily mean they had to have slept in their car, but someone who came from nothing and made something of themselves?
100% that one.
So, like, for me, when I hear about the underdog story,
did it.
exactly, they did it from where you are.
Exactly.
Now, also, there's people that say they were in that position that they weren't. For example, people talk about this and they go, "Oh, Mark Zuckerberg was the youngest billionaire at the time." And they were like, well, yeah, but what you don't know, was it Zuckerberg? I may be wrong with this, but I believe that his dad, like, was from, I think they were from a wealthy family, like the Kardashians. Yes, Kylie Jenner is the youngest billionaire, full respect for her, because she's a great businesswoman, but she was born into the Kardashians. She was on TV from the age of 7 or 8.
She was born on TV.
She was born on TV. So she immediately had a leg up.
That's her natural environment.
Exactly. You can't diss her for it. It's not her fault.
Yeah. No.
Like, you can only respect it. Like, there's a lot of people like, she didn't fucking earn it. Well, yeah, but give a fuck. Like, actually give a fuck. Like, Kylie Jenner became the youngest billionaire because she is very intelligent. That's it. It helps.
And also
that she has a lot of following.
And
it
also,
helps that her mum's Kris Jenner.
And also that she's managed by someone very intelligent or someone very fucked.
Exactly.
Too.
But if you actually take everything away, I don't care who you are, you have to have You have to have some form of intelligence to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
You have to. So people that go, "Oh, this dumb motherfucker," that's wrong. Because you can't.
They are doing something that you are not.
They're doing something that you're not, and that doesn't actually necessarily that doesn't even necessarily mean they're more productive or they're more hardworking than you. It means they're actually smarter than you in something, because it's that common thing. The best entrepreneurs statistically are the C students, because they don't follow the rules, they don't stay in the box, they get the basics, what they need, and they get what they need from it, and then they move to the next thing. So I think anyone that is somewhere where you're not, you can take advice from. But, for example, should you take, because you can take advice from Kylie Jenner, and I think you should, but there's also things that she's never experienced coming from the background that you've come from. So she can't talk from experience, she can only talk from the smarts, because she's got intelligence in business. Yeah. But she's learned intelligence from business. She wasn't born with intelligence. But I would personally rather listen to someone who came from a similar situation to me. And that, for me, is someone like Tony Robbins. So going back to the whole question of...
What was the question? I forgot.
I like to divert. What was my biggest fuck up? my biggest fuck up that actually was very beautiful was when I had $20 left. I literally had $20 left. I just lost my job. No, I just quit my job. I was working with my dad. Everything happened with my mum and dad. Really shitty situation. You know the situation. Really shit situation. I was working for my dad at the time. I did not want to work with him. I quit because I didn't like him. Couldn't work with him. Always argue him. I then had no money and I was trying to start a business. And I got down to my last $20. My mum had no money whatsoever. And I refused to ask for money from her. So for a week straight, I drank protein shakes because I knew that I'd get the protein. And I think it was like protein shakes and toast. That was it. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to say to my mum that I needed money.
Yeah.
And like my ego was getting the best of me. But I remember with this $20, like this story is actually a very great story because I was very happy, but it was a massive fuck up because I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. But I went to the store, I had $20. I bought my food, and I heard Tony Robbins say about this before, and he was like, so when I had $20, I had $20 in my pocket, I went to an all-you-can-eat buffet, and I saw a woman walk in, and it was something along the lines of like, she walked in with her kid. He was like, I don't know what it is, but I love you both your energies. And he had in his mind that he was going to pay their bill and he was going to leave. And he paid the bill and he left. And he said he walked out there to zero, feeling $100, like $1 million, feeling amazing. So I did the same thing, like from that inspiration. And there was an old lady behind me paying for my groceries. And I just paid. And I just said to the lady at the till, I was like, can you pay for her? And she went, what do you mean? It's like $18 change. Well, £18. She's like, $18 change. And I was like, yeah, no, do it. And I'm just like, I felt like really awkward in the situation because I'm like, I don't want to be weird. I just want to do it. And like, I just want to model someone that was in a similar situation to me. And I remember it was on the way back from a run. I ran, got my groceries. So that was my last 20. I feel like it was like I bought a box of, I can't remember what I bought. But I remember it was the last bit of money that I had. And I remember just running home after that and feeling great. And even though that was theoretically should have been a really low moment where I had nothing, it actually made me feel very good about myself.
But that one would be more like a moment that you were like, that you have faith. But because I don't think that would be a fucked up.
True. Well, but when you look at it, that was kind of fucked up. I didn't have any money and I gave away all my money.
Yeah, it's because I've done the same and I don't know why that feels free. You know?
It does feel free. Because, and I think it was from the inspiration of hearing other people doing that I was like in Tony Robbins' story, the guy that owed him $1,000 sent him $1,000. And he put meaning on the fact that it was because he gave that $20 away. Mm-hmm. I wanted to put meaning on the fact of that as well. I chose to model someone that was in a situation that I was in when he was younger, and now he's a billionaire. And I was like, oh, maybe if I do that. Like, it was kind of naive. Mm-hmm. But I think you can also take inspiration naively and just go with it. Have you
ever had a fuck like you forget the birthday of your sister?
Mm-hmm.
Or
I literally forgot the birthday of my sister.
That's why I'm saying it.
Abby, I love you.
How does that feel?
I felt awful. But at the same time, this is going to sound horrible. I felt awful, but at the same time I was like, is what it is. Like, it's just a birthday. Like, I don't put importance to birthdays.
But that's your thought as a man.
True.
I told you, for me, a birthday is important.
On her birthday.
Her birthday. A birthday is very important. And when my people forget it, it's like, fuck you.
I actively put it in my calendar just in case. I also put our anniversary in my calendar just in case.
Thanks God.
But now I remember it.
But yeah, I think that those fucked ups are also good to realize that sometimes. And it's okay to think just about you. It's not wrong. Mm-hmm. But that sometimes those little details for people matter, you know?
Mm-hmm. I agree. So then, the biggest fuck up. The biggest fuck up that I actually felt like fully...
Babe, and I also asked you in the last 2 years and you went to a story in UK.
Maybe that's my biggest fuck up is I...
Oh my God.
The biggest fuck up in the last 2 years... Well, yeah, I mean, we've already spoken about it, but trying to run away from you initially. That's probably the biggest recent fuck up.
But for example, well, they have to know the story, but you broke a toe.
Okay, so we basically ended, and I was talking about you or thinking about you. I can't remember which one it was. And as I walked past the couch, I kicked it so hard completely by accident, and my toe just it was horrible. It was horrible. It just like went.
Yeah.
Like, imagine your feet like that. It went bang and just split my toes open. And it felt awful. And I was like, fuck, ow, fuck. And I researched it, and I was like, what does that mean energetically?
Of course.
as masculine as I am, I always think like, what does that mean? There's a meaning to that. There's a meaning to everything. Why did I break my toe? And that toe specifically said it was something to do with heartbreak, and because that toe is connected to your heart. And for anyone who doesn't know, I've actually got no socks on.
Show your toes.
Oh, my feet are so dirty.
Oh, how's rogue?
What?
Rogue.
Rug.
Now, how do you say that?
Rug.
Rug. Again,
Okay,
for the
this
people
toe.
that doesn't know,
And now it doesn't. It still doesn't bend properly.
I don't speak English, so if I messed up, sorry. Soy mexicana,
Shut up,
hablo español y Maximiliano no quiere hablar español. Pero bueno.
Yo
Yes.
intento, pero mi español no es perfecto.
You're getting better, babe.
Yo intento.
So, for example, but you realize that you fucked up once you broke your toe or before?
I mean, it was before the toe, like.
Make the yes, stupid.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And mainly because I get this from Joe Dispenza's meditations. Ask for a sign that you're doing the right thing. Ask for a sign. I don't care how it comes. Ask for a sign. That's what he says. Ask for a sign. Know that what you're doing is right. Know that what you're doing is however it's meant to be. I asked for a sign. That was my sign. And I took the sign and I went, okay, I'm listening.
And also, for example, I have to say, we stopped talking.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, bitch, I'm done with you. Bye. Don't talk to me. We didn't text or anything. And my best friend was telling me, like, that has to happen because if you didn't tell me that you were hurt, I wouldn't go back to your house.
So that's where I think we spoke about this recently.
Yeah.
Sometimes it has to be way worse. Like, it has to be worse for people to leave their job if it's just a standard job where they're earning decent money, but it's all right. They don't really like it. They don't really want to leave. But when your job is fucking awful, the people around you are awful to you, the money's not even great, there's so much motivation to say, fuck this, I'm going somewhere else. Like, there's so much motivation when everything is shit. And things get shit in high emotional times. So for me, it was a very highly emotional time that, like you said, if I didn't break my toe,
I wouldn't go back because I was too proud to go back.
And the only reason you came back was to check if I was okay.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, he's not in his country.
Mm-hmm.
In his country, he's alone, he's late, he doesn't have eyes. I was like, this.
I don't have eyes.
For your toe. Babe,
ice,
you asked me
ice.
for
I thought you meant eyes.
I know, ice, baby. And I remember that I was walking to your apartment with a bag of ice, and I was like, why am I walking here? I hate him. I don't want to be here, but I'm going to be a good citizen. And then he just started walking in 1 feet.
I've still got that video of that little kid, like, limping. No, yeah, you took a video of me. I was limping down the beach, and there was a kid walking next to me, and you were laughing, saying that it was me because he was limping, bless him.
And literally, we were back.
He could have broken his toe.
We were back.
His girlfriend could have gone to his house.
We got back because of your broken toe.
Uh-huh. I'm going to clip it. The reason that we actually ended up back together after breaking up was because I broke my toe.
Yeah, because you use my human side.
I use your human side unintentionally.
Yeah.
No. My honest opinion, the universe used your human side by breaking my toe. Like, I had to break my toe for you to go, fuck's sake, like, I'm make sure he's okay, and then we had a conversation.
Because I remember that I was like, I'm just going to check that he's okay and bye. I was like, I don't want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then we were just together again. Well, not just together again.
No.
It was a long road. Sometimes it's still. Sometimes we still like work and struggle. Let's be honest, it's not easy. But yeah, I think that we start a different path after that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Would you say that our work-life balance has a negative or positive impact on our relationship? Because we work a shit ton.
Yeah,
we work 24/7, 7 days a week.
Yeah. I don't think so because again, we are like we want the same things and we have the same goals. So it's not like I'm angry if you're working or you're angry if I'm working. Like we get each other, and sometimes just looking and seeing you in the sofa, I'm like, oh, yeah, everything can be shared in the work, but you are still here. But the moment where I felt it, I think that is when I told you, like, that we didn't have like dates, or
Right.
it was maybe like a month where we were changing, where we're moving a lot,
That was just a difficult
where I
period.
felt that we were just talking about work, and we still
Right.
do, but I don't know. You know that I'm also like very touchy, very like.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, if sometimes I feel everything like very normal or
Yeah.
formal or serious, for me it's like, what's wrong? But yeah, I think
Yeah,
that
true.
was a moment. That was the only moment where I felt that we were moving our attention from the relationship to put everything in the work, and I didn't want that to happen with us, because we know so many people that lose their relationship because of work, and a lot of people still tell us like, you spend a lot of time together.
Well, we do spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, it's true, but I don't feel overwhelmed by you.
No. But I think we spoke about this because
Yeah.
you are overwhelming, but I'm also overwhelming. So my overwhelming can overwhelm your overwhelmingness.
And we can be together and alone together.
Because, so, do you want me to turn the fan higher?
it's okay.
You sure? Because there's a lot of people that, for example, they want a guy. I'm talking from a guy's perspective. Guys that want a girlfriend that, like, kind of just stays at home. I personally don't think that's a good route for people. I think personally, this works for me. There's a lot of famous couples that are very good working together. A lot of famous couples, especially with social media now. I personally like the idea of that. I used to always want that. I then actively, like just before I met you, I was like, actually, I don't want to work with someone because of a bad relationship experience. I don't want to work with someone. I don't want to work with my partner. Like, I want them to be my girlfriend. I want them to be my partner. I want them to be that side of life. But now for me, because this is who I am, and I love to spend time working, I love to spend time coming up with ideas, I love to learn new things. That's why I think it works for us, is because we both are on that trajectory where we're in a similar lane, that we want the same thing, but we're also both willing to do it.
Yeah.
And then we're also both willing to say, like, sometimes you'll go, come on, let's stop now, or versus me, like, oh, come on, let's stop now, let's do something.
Yeah, and sometimes I have to tell you, like, just stop and hug me. And then I'm like, okay, keep going.
Yeah. What would you do if you had a relationship where you didn't work with your partner? Like, did you always want to work with your partner?
No, never.
Oh, really? Because I always wanted that from a young age.
No. For example, that's a difference, and that's a thing that I feel very different from being with you or than from being with a Mexican. Because, as you said, like, Mexican, even for their ego, is like, I'm not going to work with a girl. Like,
right.
You do your thing, I'll do my thing.
It's not Mexican.
Like,
it's very masculine.
Worldwide, yeah. But no, I never wanted. I think I tried once. At the end, I end up doing everything. That's how I think that the emotion was born. But no, I never see that, because for me, I was in a very men energy, I can say, before like having a relationship with you. I was single for 7 years.
Right.
In those 7 years, I learned how to be alone, and I love how to be alone, and I enjoy being alone. And I also had the freedom, or my decision was like, okay, I have to be this weekend here. The next one, if I want to move to Playa del Carmen next month, I'll do it. So I was loving the fact that I didn't depend on anyone, or that I didn't have to thought about someone else. But then with you, I came back to my idea of, for example, of the agency, because that's why I study.
Right.
But I didn't have someone that could share and understand. And
do you think it's because I allowed you to be feminine?
Yeah. I don't know how, but yeah. My feminine part came back because of you.
But that doesn't mean, because...
Well,
also,
I've been always feminine,
because also I've dated masculine girls in the past. So, like, that's a curiosity thing for me.
I've dated feminine guys, and I just can't.
Exactly.
I can't.
But also, I've been more feminine. Because there has to be a masculine-feminine mix. There has to be. Especially in a relationship. Like, in a good relationship.
And for example, dating those manly girls, what was like the shock, the principal shock for you, that you said, no, I don't want this?
one, feeling kind of like, I don't want to say degraded, because I didn't feel degraded at all, so otherwise I wouldn't have stayed there. But like, I definitely felt like I didn't feel like a man.
Why?
Because a man, it's not a man, it's a masculine energy. Like, and I don't want to sound like hippie about it. It's just a masculine energy.
Yeah.
Like, you can have a masculine energy. You can tell people what to do to get shit done.
Yeah.
You can do that. But then you can flip with me and you can go very feminine to the literal point of you going, babe, babe, babe.
Of being useless.
Babe, love me.
Of being useless and not using my brain when I'm with you. Because
Is
I
that
don't
what
have
feminine
to.
is?
Yeah. But like,
you said it, not me.
Not once since I'm with you, I've used my keys. Not once.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was alone, I was always like, I always lose everything, but I have to be in charge of myself.
Right.
More.
But that's the thing. A masculine energy is a get up and go energy. Is a do it, protective, caring. My voice just cracked. A masculine energy is a get up and go, protecting, caring, like loving energy in a different way to a feminine energy. A feminine energy is a nurturing, kind, and like creative energy. Do you know what I mean? It's like the masculine. So I learned this in hypnosis. The masculine side of your brain is the left side of your brain. The feminine side of your brain is the right side of your brain. The masculine side of your brain is all about like cognition, function, like logic. The right side of your brain is about creativity, emotion, like that stuff. Now, ironically, it's the opposite in your body. The left side of your body is more feminine, and the right side of your body is more masculine. So I actually didn't know this, but all my tattoos are creative. Creative is feminine, and I accidentally put them all on the left side of my body. Don't know why, just random. But when, like, think about that. To have a left, you must have a right. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? To turn, if you want to turn left, you must know what right is. Mm-hmm. If you want to go up, you must know what down is. If you want to know what darkness is, you must know what lightness is. Like, you have to have that balance of everything that literally is the yin and yang of life. For a relationship to work very well, you must have balance. And that means in a balance of energy. And that means that, because I can go feminine with you, like, I can be more creative, I can do certain things, but when, like, my role in our relationship is more of a masculine energy, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Your role is more of a feminine energy. I personally think that's how the better relationships work.
In some things we have to change, and I have to be the man and you have to be like the woman.
Of course. Yeah. And I think that's very normal. And there's probably a lot of men that may get worried about that. That's very normal. Because every man has feminine energy, every woman has masculine energy. We just have different levels of it. Mm-hmm. There's some women that are way more masculine than most men. There's some men that are way more feminine than most women. It's just the way it is.
So going back to the point of you having an ex-girlfriend that was, or ex-date or whatever that was more manly, how did you know that was a huge fucked up relationship?
After. I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
I at all didn't have a clue of that at the time. The only time I figured that out is when I looked back in retrospect and went, fuck, there's no way that would have worked. Like, imagine that was my life. Like, it actually happened way after. Like, obviously, I noticed that there was more like get up and go. I still had the get up and go, but I definitely felt like I was losing my get up and go. And I was actually losing my masculine. So, like, imagine it like a switch. Because she was so masculine, my feminine switch was turning up and my masculine switch was turning down. Mm. So I felt more feminine.
Yeah, I was going to say. And I remember, and I think that it's important to speak about it because maybe some guys can feel like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember that you told me that in a lot of areas, you felt that your masculine energy was going lower. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So that's when you decide, you realized after.
I realized after. But that's what I'm saying. I was very feminine, where I was attached. And I'm not saying that women are attached. I'm saying feminine energies are attached. Mm. Because it's easier for a feminine energy to love, care, and nurture for something, despite it actually being bad for you. And like, again, that's not a woman thing, that's a feminine energy thing, because a feminine energy is a very trusting energy. Like, for example, take this as an example. Why were, like, I don't know if this is true, but why could, like, I'd say the Mayan culture, let's say, they're a very feminine culture. They're all about ayahuasca. They're all about plant medicines. They're all about community, about, like, going back to earth, to nature, to everything. When Spain colonized Mexico, they came in with a masculine energy, and unfortunately the Mayans were probably so loving, caring and nurturing that they trusted too quickly. And they went, there's no way that someone's going to do that, which we've experienced that together. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people? You don't know until you experience it.
You never, yeah, exactly.
Like, that's not to say that I agree, because obviously I do not agree with any of that, but did that make certain people into the people they are today? Because of their bad experiences, because of their fuck-ups.
Because there's also people that choose to stay in those fucked ups and use that as a shield and say, I won't change because my life has been awful, blah, 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 instead of own your shit, keep walking, and to the next thing.
And use your fuck-up to the next one to not fuck up. At least don't fuck up as much.
Or in the same thing, at least learn. Or if not, the lesson will keep repeating and repeating and repeating.
That's it.
Until you learn, but just don't complain. Shut up and don't complain.
Yeah. Well, Alex Hormozy said that smart people are not, it's not based on a level of like IQ or anything like that. Smart people are people that learn faster than others. For example, he was like, if I show you a red card and I smack you in the face, I show you a red card again and I smack you in the face, I show you a red card for the third time, if you don't duck, you haven't learned that the red card is going to smack you in the face. Some people that may take 10 red cards to realise, fuck, if he shows me a red card the 11th time, I'm going to get smacked in the face. But some people get smacked in the face once and they go, red card, that's possibly being a smack in the face. Yeah. Other people, like I say for me, it usually takes like 2 times. Like, I'd say like, I'm like, is that true? Yeah, it's true. I'm ducking this time. Like, sometimes it works like that. Obviously, sometimes you just learn quicker. But he said the level of intelligence you have is based on how quickly you learn something.
Yeah, because it's very stupid to keep being in the same and the same and the same mistake. And it's even worse when people keep complaining of the same mistake for years. Well,
that's it. It's like, imagine you're walking down the road and you fall in a hole on the right side of the path. You walk down the same road, the right side of the path, you fall in the same hole. You'd be like, are you fucking stupid? Like, you literally fell in that hole. If you did that a third time, people would be like, I'm not even going to bother trying to tell you. Like, if you don't know this, like, you're lost.
And falling in a hole could mean going back to a toxic relationship, keep finding jobs that you don't want just to have money that make you miserable. I don't know what else could be.
Well, it's anything. That's just a metaphor.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, of course.
Do you know what I
mean? So, tell me, have you ever said something to someone and you are like, oh, I fucked up. I shouldn't say that.
To you?
Yeah, no, I think that I also told you.
When I said to you, I hope you don't mind me saying this, I can cut out if you want, but when I said to you, like, when we were arguing, I was like, I'm fucking paying for everything. I'm paying for this apartment. Like,
no, you didn't say that. You said, you know how much money I'm spending on you?
Right.
And that's when I went crazy. We're like, you're not giving me a fucking single penny. What are you talking about? In that moment, you were helping me for rent. We just moved together, but we have a talk before, like, I don't have money. I need work. And that's when When Max told me that, even though it wasn't true because it's not like he was giving me money to live.
I wasn't giving you money. Like, when I buy things for us.
Same. But for me, I hate it. Some girls are like, I want someone that gives me money, gives me cars. Like, everyone decides what they want, and I don't judge anyone. But for me, that's awful.
I think
for me that's awful because of my background, because I have brothers and my family has always shown me that I can get whatever I want by myself. That I don't need anyone else.
Yeah.
And I've never depend on anyone apart from my family, but just hearing that from you, it was like, what the fuck? What are you saying?
But also, me fucking up and saying that made us have the conversation after
Of money.
I packed your bags. After I packed your bags, or I packed my bags. I think I packed your
Both.
bags.
Yeah.
Sorry. After I did that, and we end up having the conversation, that fuck up led me to hear from you to say you don't understand how hurt I am because of that, because X, Y, and Z. Because of this experience, because I never want to depend on anyone, because my family have women that have done it for themselves.
Yeah.
I heard you, I respected that, and I've never said it again.
And I'm grateful and I appreciate it, but also that I think that took me to extreme, where it was moments where you wanted to buy me something. I was like, no, I don't want it.
Yes.
I don't want anything.
Yeah, so when we got off the plane to Playa Del Carmen, I tried to buy you a drink, and when you were annoyed at me and you refused to buy it, and you literally, I don't know if you paid for it or you
I paid for it. And I was like, understand that I don't want anything from you. I don't want you to pay anything. And I had a season like that for maybe 2 or 3 months until we also...
me?
Yeah. Where I didn't want you to pay for anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
Even still now, sometimes you hate when I pay for stuff.
Yeah. I'm used to, and I'm also understanding, and I'm learning to receive.
Well, that was the biggest thing. Like, if and this is something that I've always heard with people, if you're saying, I want to be a millionaire, but someone goes, oh, let me pay for your petrol, let me pay for your gas in your car, let me pay for your food, and you're saying no, to me, you're literally saying, I don't want the money.
But for me, I get it, 100% I get it, and that's why I'm learning. But now in this moment, for example, for me, it's different because we are both working together doing our things. So now I just don't feel like an outsider. Just give me money. I can't. It's just...
In fairness, I used to really struggle with people giving me money, and I had to lose my ego. I had to get to the point of when we first, just before we moved in together, when neither of us had any money, where I had to ask my mum for rent, and I had to lose all of my ego to ask my mum for rent.
I also had to ask for rent.
Do you know what I mean? And that was the most painful experience, one of the most painful experiences, because I felt like a failure. And I feel like there's different things that you can feel that are bad, but when you feel like a failure, you feel like you just feel very low. Yeah. And I think coming from a man's perspective, I think a lot of men will relate to this. I hate when... Because I also have an interesting thought process with this. I hate when a woman pays for something for me, but I love when a woman offers to pay for something for me.
Okay.
I love that. Like, I think...
And I think that happened while we were dating, for example.
I'm like, you offered to pay for something. And like, for me, it was nothing to do with you actually paying. It was to do with the gesture of like, I feel equal to you.
Especially in Playa del Carmen.
Especially in Playa del Carmen. The amount of times
when people, boys and girls, go on dates just to have food.
Well, exactly.
Literally, free food.
And I remember, like, I had that before, and I was just like for me, that was an immediate red flag. And like, and then I've spoken to people about that. They're like, I would never let a girl pay. And I'm like, but for me, it's nothing to do with the girl paying. It's all to do with the gesture of, I actually feel equal to you. I want someone who's strong. I found that, bitch.
Oh, you found me. You're welcome, bitch. Your life's so amazing with a Mexicana.
My life is amazing with a Mexicana. You're crazy, but it's amazing.
So yeah, Maximiliano.
What's your problem with me? No.
Nothing, chiquitin. So yeah, like talking about fucked ups, like we could have a lot, but...
Ooh.
What?
You've actually sent me something really interesting.
What?
The blame game. How often, let's say in our relationship, and then I want to go to business as well, how often would you blame someone else? Blame your partner, blame someone in business, blame someone at work for a fuck up when you know that it was actually you?
No, when it's me, I'm angry with me, very angry. But
right.
When I'm really not sure, I don't accept the fault completely. That's the truth.
Because that's the thing. I'm exactly the same. I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know that. And like even when like I've said something that wasn't true, and I'm like, I was 100% certain that it was true until I found out it wasn't true, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm wrong. Like, I don't care when someone says to me like, told you so, because I'm like, well, yeah, I was wrong. Like, it is what it is. Like,
Who won? Yeah, me.
but seriously, like, I feel like I'm very quick at admitting my flaws, and I'm not very quick at blaming someone else.
For me, it's difficult to accept the responsibility sometimes. I'm like, no, everyone is wrong, not me. Sometimes.
You say that with me a lot. There's actually literally, I have video evidence of when you washed this sheet.
I wasn't
me
wrong.
being wrong. This was put outside on a dirty floor on the rooftop.
But it didn't have dust from a...
No, it had dirt from the outside.
But it was washed. I don't care.
And dirty.
I don't care.
This is somewhere that...
You are not putting it in your face.
It was never in my face anyway.
But I will smell the dust.
Shut the fuck up. See? But I definitely agree that I can very quickly accept responsibility when I need to accept responsibility. And I think that comes from people blaming me for so many things when it wasn't. And I don't want people to experience that. I don't think it's fair. I really don't think it's fair. And that book that I've got, Leaders Eat Last by Simon Sinek, just the whole concept of leaders eat last, let alone like take all the words out of the book, just that phrase, leaders eat last. I think for me, to be a leader is to ensure that I assume responsibility as fast as possible. Now, I'm not a leader of a 100-person organization, but I choose in this moment to be a leader in my family, in my relationships, in my friendships, in my business. Like, I want to assume the leader role, therefore I have to start acting as if I am the leader of a 100-people organization before I get to that point. And for me, one of the biggest ones is assuming responsibility on me when it's my fault. If also it's someone else's fault, like, yes, you fucked up, but that doesn't mean I'm going to scream and shout at you and you're going to get fired. You fucked up, here's how we solve it. That happens again. Okay, you fucked up again. Do you not remember what we spoke about? Like, I feel like there's a balance.
Yeah.
And there's certain amount of times you can do something, the same fuck up. Because I think we're going to fuck up in different ways in life in general.
Of course. And that's okay, too.
Mm-hmm.
But
agree.
if you keep going and you are stubborn at the same, it's like, I can't help you. Sorry.
Well, that's it. It literally is that thing. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't get it to drink. If the horse is too stubborn to drink water,
Scrap.
The horse named Scrap. If the horse is too stubborn to drink the water, the horse will die. Mm-hmm. It's not your fault if the horse doesn't drink. And like, that's something that I can detach myself from. Like, I can encourage you to do better. I can't encourage you to do something specific. I mean, I understand human psychology to a degree. But I can only do so much. If you can't do this, then I'm not going to waste my time worrying about it.
Yeah,
I'll do what I can for someone.
So, for example, I think that we've been shooting for 2 hours almost.
Oh, well.
So...
I can't even see the time.
Because I saw the hours 11:11 now. So, for example, what would you say? How... for a person to be out of your life, which is the biggest fucked up that they can make? That they do and you're like, okay, you're done.
Complete disrespect. Complete disrespect.
For example.
For me, disrespect is when people don't actually listen to you. Okay. Like, the amount of times that I've said to people, like, the amount of times I've said to people, like, I don't do this, like, I don't do that, like, that's just not who I am. Do you know what I mean? They're like, come on, just like do some cocaine with me. Like, people that don't know my past, I used to do a lot of cocaine. When I kept being like encouraged, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Now you asking me makes me not want to do it even more. Like, you're actually pissing me off now. when I get to that point, I'm just like, you have no respect for me because you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when people use me and they're like I've been used multiple times in the sense of like, he'll do that. He'll come along with us. He'll do this. He'll drive us here. He'll pay for that. And like, it's not like crazy things, but it was like, it was an expectation that shouldn't be an expectation. Like, my expectation of people is 0 because I don't expect anyone to do something that I don't even know if they want to do or not. Like, for example, if someone was driving somewhere, I think now it's a little bit different once you get older, but when I was younger, if someone was driving somewhere, I would always offer to give them money for gas in the car. Always, 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 always. When people didn't do that, I used to feel like really like, what the fuck? You just expect me to do this for you?
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, but you're going that way anyway. I'm like,
That's the worst.
So?
When people confuse favor or
with an expectation.
Your will with something as like for an obligation.
Exactly. Like, that really pisses me off when people feel I'm obligated to do something. If I've done it in the past as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did it in the past out of my kindness.
That doesn't mean that I have
exactly.
to do it now.
I'm not going to do it again.
Exactly.
Like, sort of fuck you. Because, yeah, when people expect too much from me, I feel very disrespected. Because I don't expect... And maybe that just comes from me. I don't expect anything from anyone. I expect a base level of respect. But on top of that, like, I don't expect people to see me all the time. I don't expect people to call me all the time. I don't expect anything other than respect. Like, I hope that people don't talk about me in a bad light. If they do, then I don't respect them. But is what it is. Because is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I can't change human behavior. I can't change human behavior, but I can study human behavior. So I did what I was in control of. When I feel completely out of control, I take control of what I can control. If that means learning something to understand human psychology so that people can't fuck me over, so I know when people are fucking me over, then that's what I learned to do at that time. And that was how I found hypnosis, studied hypnosis, and became a hypnotherapist. And
still you keep trusting too much in people. You keep thinking the best.
Sometimes, but also I don't trust them. Like, people have said this to me a lot. Like you, my mom, like my family have said that I trust in people. I also say I sometimes don't trust in people at all, which I find really interesting that people think that I trust people a lot, because I don't feel like I trust a lot of people.
I mean, like, not trust like, oh yeah, he's my best friend, but you don't see the bad side from people very easy.
Okay. That comes from lack of negative experience. Because, for example, I don't trust a lot of guys because I've had a lot of guys fuck me over. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's where I get that from. And then the difference was, like, when we've had difficult or, like, awful situations where you've been fucked over in a relationship, I'd never been fucked over in a relationship, like, that bad. I've been, like, disrespected, but I'd never been, like, really fucked over. So, like, I didn't think humans were capable of that.
Yeah.
So when that happened with us twice, I was like,
what the fuck is wrong with people?
That doesn't compute in my mind.
Yeah.
Why would someone treat you like that? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? And for me, I was just like, wow. It's a lesson on trust.
Yeah.
It really is a lesson on trust. Okay. Katia Aguilar Ixtamento. Let's bring this to a conclusion.
Maximiliano Hindle Ixtamento.
I love you.
I love you.
So I think, so based on what we've spoken about just before I hit the conclusion, we didn't know what we wanted this podcast to be. We know we wanted to name it Don't Wait, Do It, for the main reason that we don't want to wait around. We just want to get shit done. We don't really have an exact idea, but we know that we've built our stuff in the past and we know what we want to portray. We want to portray business, relationship. For me, content, and for you, dance and stuff like that, I'm assuming.
Content in a different way, because my content was dancing content. So I think that between your hypnosis and my dancing knowledge and our expertise, we complement something, and it's cool to learn from other perspectives. And yeah, we don't have like a clue of what is this, but I think that it's better to figure it out while we're doing it.
Yes. And that is something that I like about the whole situation, because we have a broad idea that's going to turn more niche as we get through the episodes, I think.
Of course.
Okay, so the conclusion we've got here, we didn't really talk about. I think we spoke about most things.
Yeah.
Based on just the way that we just divert. There was definitely stuff we didn't talk about, like business risk and stuff like that. But I mean, I've taken risk. I've lost a lot of money and things, but is what it is. But I definitely think we can conclude with that. Yeah, that's a great conclusion, actually. How the fuck ups actually enriched our relationship, how it can enrich business relationships, how it can enrich family life.
Yeah.
Because the biggest fuck ups that you've been through, you've learned something, and we can choose to repeat those patterns. But I think also we can choose to just take the piece we need from it. And then that's the broken toe analogy. If I didn't like put it that way, maybe if I didn't like accept it after the broken toe, like would I have kept breaking a toe?
Until you understand, or would you maybe be with someone else that
completely fucked up my life? Exactly.
Yeah, I think that learning from fucked ups is amazing to reframe, you would say.
I like to reframe. I'm a good reframer.
For me, fucking up, yeah, it's a decision, but it's also sometimes an action that you have to do to learn something different and to learn from your experience, not from the experience of someone else. Because until you fucked up as much as you can is when you say, okay, stop, or okay, well, whatever, I will keep going in the same path.
Yeah. So would you say that you could repeat the fuck up constantly, and it could just be a long life of fuck ups?
Yeah.
With no lessons.
And that's when coming into relationships, like that's when someone decides unconsciously to keep cheating in every relationship, or keep lying, or keep choosing the wrong ones, or in business they chose to keep losing money because it's more their ego than learning from someone else, or accepting that someone else can have knowledge that you don't have. And you will just keep fucking and fucking, like a business that, for example, has an employee and is not working, and the next one is not working, and the next one, you are doing something wrong.
Yes. Your training must be wrong.
Your training must be wrong, and you are doing something wrong. Like,
if it's happening again and again.
Exactly. It's not the fault of just the other person.
And that's where you got to assume responsibility again.
And that's when you have to say, okay, I fucked up. Yeah, I'm the CEO, but I can also be wrong, and I accept it. And okay, show me.
Well, we've got a great example of that. We've had video editors that we didn't like their style. And I remember I re-edited one of the videos, and the guy wasn't very happy.
Yeah.
And I remember him messaging me and being like, how would you feel if someone did that to your work? And I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. At the same time,
but at the same time, we needed.
It didn't meet our criteria, and we needed it. So I'm like, I'm not going to wait around for people. But that also taught me that clearly we hadn't trained people, because now
it's different.
It's so much more different because our training's better.
But that was, like, I think that our expertise is coming from our fuck up.
Without a doubt.
Because we try by yourself, by myself, we try different things together, blah, blah, but now all of this is growing from 0-1, from fucked up, literally.
Well, I literally just looked at that sign when you said that. Like, literally, you, like, for example, the quote, do it, could just be there.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important part.
Yeah.
But look at it from that. The don't and the wait, they've actually crossed out the fuck up. Don't wait. Like, cross out the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, do it. Do it is the important part. That's really the important part. But without the fuck up, it wouldn't have as much power as it has.
And also that's when sometimes we have to be, like, brave enough to say, okay,
I fucked up.
I might fucked up, or I fucked up, but here I am, and I'm ready to do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's losing ego in business and in relationships because we had moments where you fucked up or I fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we are learning, even talking about our things here.
Having a conversation about where you fuck up assumes responsibility to self and say, this is where I fucked up. This is where, and like, I think we have these conversations. This is what I did that was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
This is what that you want me to do. This is what I want to do. Can I do that? That's growth because you're doing something differently.
And even this podcast, now that I think about it, is coming and is growing from our fucked ups. And for example, at the beginning of the fuck ups, our fuck ups, and at the beginning of the relationship, you didn't want to have like weird conversations or uncomfortable conversations. But now we're speaking here and in a podcast.
I completely forgot how I used to be.
About our shit, and we don't have problems to accept our fuck ups because we were training this whole time between us to get it to a point where talking about this here is comfortable. Where it's not going to say, okay, this is done, and we're going to be angry because you mentioned your ex-girlfriend or I mentioned my ex-boyfriend. Like, after a while. But it wasn't easy. It was from day 1 to day 2. This is coming from months. And this is coming from months where you and I understood and practiced to have uncomfortable conversations.
I completely forgot that I couldn't have uncomfortable conversations. That's what it was. That's what I used to fear. I completely forgot I was that person. Whoa.
Saturday session.
No, seriously, I completely forgot I was that person. Now, you just brought that all back to me. That was the whole reason that, like, people hate this. I've broken up with a girl over the phone before because I couldn't have that conversation in person.
And even with me at the beginning, you were like, oh, I have to tell you something instead of fucking sitting and saying what you have to say. It was difficult for you.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I watched a video the other day and I was thinking about that and it was saying, like, you really think that you're always going to be this way. Your throat hurting. Yeah, mine's hurting a little bit. If you always think that you're going to be this way, you really won't.
Of course not.
But you won't know until you change. I genuinely completely forgot who I used to be. And that was only 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember things from like 5 years ago, but I completely forgot that I couldn't have these conversations.
And now you're doing it in front of cameras.
Again, the biggest fuck up of my life ended up becoming something that we actively want to do. Have difficult conversations.
In front of people.
On a fucking camera, being recorded. Fuck. Okay.
Thank you, don't wait, do it.
Don't wait, do it. Go and fuck up. Go and fuck up pleasantly. Don't like fuck people over. I think that's a good sign. That's a good message.
Yeah. Fucked up, fuck up, fuck up, fuck up.
Fuck off.
Cáguenla, but keep trying.
Yeah.
Keep trying and keep trying and keep trying because good things are going to come. And just also be humble enough to accept when you fuck up.
Well, like, I really like my analogy. I don't know if that was just me who really got excited about that, but like,
he really got excited about it.
If you haven't written "Don't wait," you would have never found the "Do it." That's the way that I'm seeing it. Like, if you didn't write "Don't wait" and you crossed out the fuck up, you would have never found the "Do it." You would never found the action if you didn't fuck up. And I think action is more important than anything. And sometimes to take action, you have to fuck up because you have to realize, fuck, I fucked up.
And maybe we wouldn't be here if we didn't fuck up.
I don't think we would.
So
go fuck up and maybe you'll find yourself a fucking sexy Mexicana Latina.
We are very grateful for our fuck ups because we are here because of them.
We've got a great relationship.
Yeah.
We work together.
We are working in our relationship. We are working in our business. Everyone
I definitely say we've still got our flaws.
Of course. And that would never I don't know. We're humans and
we're humans. Like, I still get very stubborn.
But we're getting better at talking.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're learning from our mistakes.
I forgot that I couldn't talk. Completely forgot. I never used to be able to talk to women. Then I could never have difficult conversations with women. Now I can talk to the most beautiful woman in the world and have difficult conversations with her as well. Damn, oh baby. Don't wait, do it. Follow us, subscribe.
See you next episode. Don't wait, do it. Thank you.
Hasta luego.